Welcome, race fans, to round 4 of the 2016 Canadian Motocross Championships. The tour has made its way into the prairies. This is Regina, Saskatchewan. MX2 pilots right now selecting and preparing their gates as we get ready for the first moto. This is the Moto Valley Raceway in Regina, Saskatchewan. Presented by Motovan, this is the 2016 Rockstar Energy Drink Motocross Nationals. Hey now, there they are, the Rockstar girls, Brian Coster and Mark Travers in the booth as we get set for a big day of racing here at Regina's Moto Valley Raceway. MX2 pilots in staging, of course, picked their gates. They're getting ready to go out onto parade. Fabulous day of setting up for motocross racing here, Brian. Of course, if you think about the history of this track, we have seen some sloppy, wet conditions. We see some dusty, dry Regina conditions, but today it's absolutely perfect.
Yeah, there is some wind and there is some overcast skies, so who knows what the day has in store, but lush greenery, great moisture during the week. Track crew Stu McQueen massaging this track beautifully, tilling very deep. There is a hard base, great elevation changes. The Blair Morgan corner right up there to the right, and that notoriously fast GP section, Travs. It's gonna be epic.
I think it might be one of the best tracks we've seen so far this season. Let's get back to highlights from round 3, Brian. This is Wild Rose MX Park in Calgary. Oh, Pettis with a little digger.
That has to hurt, and that is hard soil out there. But Mark Worth was riding hard on the 101, but little Muff, the 15, was on fire, but no one could touch the 4 of Cole Tommy Gun Thompson.
The 101, Marky Worth grabbing both hole shots. That's the Triple Crown, but Thompson goes outside early, grabs the lead, and then it was all about little Muff. 6 to 7 big passes to get into second place with the big banger on Leaf late in the moto. That was a great race for Moff.
Yeah, Sean MAFFENBEIER was on fire for the Redemption team. Loved Cole Thompson doing the front fender tap. He is just stoked for his factory KTM 4 Parts Canada ride.
And with those highlights, let's get caught up in the points after 3 of 10 in the MX2 class. Thompson leading MAFFENBEIER, Leaf looking good in 3rd, and then Wright in 5th, so nice little combination there, Babs.
Yeah, and then Casey Keese, our first Pro-Am rider, he is the shape of things that comes in. It's Pettis, Marky Worth missing 1 round, and McCoy Bruff and LaFontaine.
MX2 pilots going out onto parade. Look at that loamy, dark Regina soil, Brian. MX2 Racing next. Welcome back to Regina's Moto Valley Raceway in the 2016 Rockstar Energy Drink Motocross Nationals. Mark Travers and Brian Coster in the booth. Hey, there's Rockstar L blowing us kisses. Isn't that nice, fabulous? And here come 3 gorgeous Rockstar models out onto the Star Straight with Sir Paul Kingsley. 30 board is up. It is time to shake out the sillies. This first MX2 Moto will be brought to you by RoyalDistributing.com, Canada's power sports leader and sponsor of the infamous SHAWN.
Uh-oh, we're going to 5, Travs. Riders are focusing down on the gate here. That is Kyle Springman from BC right on that inside gate pick. FXR rider, 60 helmets, and he is off. We are on board with McCoy Bruff. Out of Utah, Bruff gets pitched up. Oh, we got carnage off the start. MAFFENBEIER down, so the hometown hero is gonna have to play catch-up.
The number 18, that is Brad Nodden on that Scotty Motorsports Honda with that Royal Distributing whole shot. But fabulous, we have an intermediate rider in the lead. The number 144 of Nolan Hebner got by Nodden in that rhythm section, and look at this kid take off.
Man, Hebner is amazing. He raced yesterday in amateur day, and he battled with Casey Keast in all the motos, getting second to Keast and beating him in that second one. Spent some time with Hebner yesterday. Nice kid, and he is leading his first foray in the Canadian Nationals.
It was very interesting because both you and I went to the fence in that moto independently and said, who the heck is this number 44? At that time, that's when he was racing yesterday.
Yeah.
He looked fantastic on a great track, and now he's leading. The FXR team brought him up, and he's being shadowed by the MX 101 team. He looks great out there in the lead.
Yeah, definitely the Handy White had a hand in getting him up to Canada. Now that is just coming out of that uber fast GP section. Hebner looking good out front right now, Travis. The adrenaline for Hebner is just unbelievable. Drop down, a big triple step up. That's a lot of real estate you cover in midair.
Let's go back to the start, Brian. Now, the riders decided that they wanted to do the hairpin.
Ooh.
And look at MAFFENBEIER on the inside. He got caught up with another rider. Boy, Nodden has always been great with hole shots, hasn't he?
I'm sorry, but that is just a dumb decision by the riders to go into that 180 versus sweeping out. They're afraid of the high speed. It's guaranteed carnage when you bring that many riders into that tight of a hairpin.
Hepner got on the gas through that rhythm section and got on the outside and got into the lead quickly, and now we get back to lap number 2. And how about the start for the 69 of Riley Gallup, the Alberta rider on that two-stroke KTM? A great start for him.
Unbelievable for Gallup, and it's time for him to giddy up as he challenges Noddy right now. That's pretty awesome, and Hepner has a bit of a moment.
Well, I just can't talk about how much I love the track right now. Woo. Hey, the 36 of Davy Fraser's in the mix, and there's LaFontaine. Fraser's in the top 5. Love it.
Yeah, 259 is LaFontaine out of Redlands, California. He's got the great Randy Lawrence up here as his trainer, and there's the 15 of Little Muff, and he got a bad start.
Both he and Thompson got mired up in that little right-hand button hook off the start. They had to battle their way into that, what's like top 10 right now. Let's get back to the battle for the lead, though. Hepner, oh my, big booter coming out of the valley for the number 18 of Brad Noddet. That kid is all style on that Honda. Hepner in the lead. Noddet second, and Gallup in third as we go to the Rockstar lock-off can coming to the finish line.
I'm really impressed with Hepner because Noddet is a series regular. He's got hole shots. He's a regular podium guy, and here he is actually getting pulled a little bit by the Pro-Am rider out of Minnesota. And Hepner, living not too far from Ryan Dungey, actually hangs out a little bit with the Dungey clan, so good company there.
Oh my, Brian.
Yard sale.
Oh, Hepner got it all wrong coming in on that outside line on that rhythm section, Brian, and he is down and looks to be out. Orton Crawford, track staff, out on the track, preparing. Red cross flag is out, Brian, but people are jumping right now.
Wow, oh no, yeah, you're right. There's gonna be some penalties.
Look at that.
They have to single there. They're not allowed to clear it, so yeah, there's going to be some review here, but Hepner's moving. I like that. He's rolling around. Here it is. He comes out, gets on the gas, and just a little bit on the gas too much and slides up the face and gives classic high sides. But he lands in about the worst place possible, right in that gully. So body slam, bam, thank you, ma'am. That has got to hurt. Glad to see Hepner moving, though, because that was a horrific crash.
It was. He had nothing to brace himself as he came into that backside of the jump. Red cross flag is out. Here's the jumping, Brian. This is the issue we're talking about.
Right.
We had this at round 2.
There's MAFFENBEIER
with the red cross flag, and you see Leith coming through. He's actually looking down at Hepner while he's jumping through. That's an issue.
Oh, there will definitely be some penalties levied. This is the battle for 4th between Tyler LaFontaine and Cole Thompson. Now, LaFontaine has parents from Manitoba and Saskatchewan, but living the dream in California.
On the two-stroke KTM. Oh, here Thompson get connected, and Thompson goes down. This corner is causing problems already, Brian. Thompson is down. He's not out, but 3 riders get by. MAFFENBEIER, Fraser, LaFontaine. Looks like Leith got by, and here comes Dylan Wright now connecting with Thompson.
Well, Wright was involved in that first turn, little melee. He had to get on the binders to avoid all that carnage, but out front with the rain falling is Honda Canada shift rider Brad Nodito, the flying burrito. Look at the lead he's got right now on Riley Gallup from Alberta. So a great day for Gallup. And there is the 15, the hometown hero of Sean MAFFENBEIER after that incident with Thompson. Gets into 3rd.
Look at the two-strokes, 3 two-strokes in the top 5 right now, Brian, as we head back to the number 4 of Thompson and Wright as they go through the Doug DeHaan sweeper, back up to the battle for 2nd place. It looks like MAFFENBEIER has caught up to Gallup. MAFFENBEIER is going about his business, Brian, inside, up into the Blair Morgan, Zox corner, if you will, then over the hipper and down in 2nd place.
Yeah, really fun part of the trick. Now, here's the problem. Thompson gets on the gas on the outside, doesn't realize LaFontaine steps out of the berm, so a bit of a dangerous pass. Thompson didn't expect LaFontaine to step out of the berm. He was all out of control, just gathered Thompson up, and you see Thompson's arm was right down in his back tire. Cole's gonna be pretty beat up after that crash.
Leith and the boys funneling down into the GP section as we head back to the battle for the lead. Here comes Little Muff. Does he have the inside line coming into the Toyota corner? Not a little freight train. No, Muff decides to go outside into the Camelback section, Brian. Outside becomes inside. Here comes Little Muff. Saskatchewan's own into the lead, Brian.
Man,
great corner for him.
The crowd around this track is just going berserk for their hometown hero, of course. Blair Morgan, the icon of the province, and now Sean MAFFENBEIER, Little Muff taking up the slack as the top dog.
Dylan Wright is pushing hard, Brian. He has been fantastic all season, and now he's putting it up on Thompson. This corner has been a problem for Thompson all day long, and here comes Wright, and he busts Thompson almost out of the same rut that he crashed a couple of laps ago in.
That is just unreal as the sun begins to shine. Can you imagine the confidence for Dylan Wright getting up in the grill and actually passing one of the most established stars of the class, Cole Tommy Gun Thompson. Now Thompson probably a little shook up still from that get-together with LaFontaine, so let's just see if Cole can maybe regroup and pressure the young Dylan Wright into a mistake.
Things all askew in the top 5. I saw Leith coming over the finish line in top 5. Here's Gallup on the inside in 6. Oh, here comes Marky Worth, the 101 Monster Energy Kawasaki with some great throttle response on the outside. That's a tough line out there.
The Team Green protege brought up to replace the injured Jacob Hayes by team manager Jason Hughes, and a shrewd move and a really good, solid group of guys over there at that Monster Energy Kawasaki team. And here's that pass. Worth just comes in a gear higher through those jumps and just carries speed. Right before where Thompson had his little incident with LaFontaine, you can see those ruts and grooves. It's a different kind of roughness here in Regina. It is chop, chop, chop. So you really want to have the initial suspension settings a little softer for that chop, but you still got to have that heavy duty suspension for those big hits on these huge jumps. So a bit of a dichotomy for the suspension tuners here.
You're making a great point because the ruts in the chop is longer than it was than we saw last weekend in Calgary, and it's about setup and preparation coming into those long ruts.
And plus it's a very fast track. Like, this is a big fast area. There are some tight turns, but the rider's really able to work those upper gears. SHAWN MAFFENBEIER takes the win, but boy oh boy, we might have some adjustments after the red cross. Welcome back to Regina and round number 4 of the Rockstar Energy Motocross Nationals. There's our whole shot winner, Broadnetta. Hey, Trav, you look pretty good on camera.
Thanks, buddy. Let's get to our top 10 in the first MX2 Moto. Of course, these results are unofficial. SHAWN MAFFENBEIER taking the win. Not at Wright, Thompson, Leith, Worth, Gallup, Pettis, Pro, and Biro.
What a glorious moto for the Redemption rider, SHAWN MAFFENBEIER. First win of 2016, Sean. You did it in dominating fashion. Came from a poor start all the way to the lead, man. Talk to us and the fans at home about that moto.
What a crazy race. I mean, that first corner pile up, there was myself, Cole Thompson, there was so many guys down in that first corner. We all got up, we were working our way through the pack, and you know, I was looking, I thought there were still guys in front of me, and I came around and looked at my pit board and it said P1, and I was like, oh, okay, well, you know, let's take this race how it is then, and just put my head down and got my first win here.
Believe it or not, the number 18, quite a likable fella here in the pits with his best ride of the year, Brad, second place. You had a great lead and lots going on in that moto, but you got to be pretty stoked with your efforts here and some great people behind you to help you get your best result of 2016.
Thanks, Gosser. Yeah, I got off to a good start there and held it together for the first half of the race, put it together solid, hit all my marks, and had a good battle with Moff there. And you know, none of it would be possible without everybody: SG Power, Honda Canada, Fox Shift, Scott, Scotty Motorsports, Fusion Graphics, all my friends and family. Thanks, guys.
Just a quick update: the officials are actually in reviewing the footage from that first MX2 Moto right now, Brian. Looks like there is going to be some docking based on what happened on that crash. But let's move on to the MX1 class. They're in staging right now. Vince Friese on that Monster Energy Kawasaki at the fastest lap time. Wow, look at all of these pilots. It's going to be a dynamite day for MX1 racing. Let's go back to last week at Wild Rose. Friese got the whole shot. But of course, the number 118, the Kingpin, got the lead early.
Boy, MILLSAPS is so bossy out here in Canada, having it his own way now. Mike Alessi taking a peek up on Vincenzo. And look at the two of Colton Bastiani charged like crazy, making a pass on Friese, and then loses it off the track through the Motul banner.
Vince Sandy is in it all day long. You saw MILLSAPS get the checkered flag in the first one. Look at that pass he makes on Benoit. Benoit actually got the whole shot. But look at Gorky went down in that. That's what that replay was for, to show he was in last place. Had to make a bunch of passes. Nettie was great that day as well, but no one could touch right now the 118 of DAVI MILLSAPS. He is just on fire. Look at the size of him up there. D-Saps.
Oh, he just gives Metcalf in the face.
Okay, let's get caught up in the points in the MX1 class after 3 of 10. You know your top 5. Let's go from 6. That's Clayson. Kevin Benoit with a DNF sitting in 7th. Tyler Medallia needs to get going. Keelan Meston in top 10, as well as Morgan Berger. Great to see the number 19 in the MX1 class. MX1 pilots now going out onto parade. I cannot wait to see the big bikes out on this track, Fabulous.
Yeah, Travs, the more established stars of the sport, those higher horsepower 450s, it's gonna be a doozy.
This is Regina's Moto Valley Raceway. Mark Travers and Brian Coster in the booth as we get set for MX1 Moto 1. I think this was what all the fans that have come to the park have been waiting for. Of course, they love seeing MAFFENBEIER win that first moto, but this is the premier class. Looks like Rockstar Lorne has that 30 board up. Sir Paul Kingsley, of course, benighted in England, out taking care of the proceedings. This first MX1 Moto will be brought to you by your Prairie Toyota dealers. Brian, they're doing test drives out in the 50 track right behind the start. They've been hanging out all weekend long. It's been dynamite to have Toyota with us as we see Rockstar Lorne go to 5, going back to the line. We got 40 MX1 pilots. Brian, the gate is down, on board with Johnny Lapinson, Motovan helmet cam.
The number 27 gets a poor jump, pitched right off, and yes, of course, riders down on that 180. That looks like the 55 of Vincenzo Frisi that lays it down, causing all kinds of carnage, but it's Royal Distributings. Oh, shit, for the MILLSAPS.
Mud Flaps out in the lead right now through the rhythm section. Gurkman in second place, Benoit with a dynamite start. And how about the 73 of Matichuk? Lalesi on the inside, Clayson, wow, a couple of new guys up here.
Right there, Matichuk's teammate, Keelan Meston on that CycleWorks Yamaha, sitting just a couple back, but Kirky goes up against Benoit, takes second on the big ski jump, and then this nice step up with a little whip action in Benoit's grill.
Oh, coming into the GP section, you know what, Brian? The number 11 and Kevin Benoit has probably been the biggest surprise.
Yeah.
Not the fact that he's battling up here, but just the speed and the poise in this class already.
He is just a bona fide MX1 star. Let's just go ahead and say it. He's got 2 MX2 championships, mentored under the great 5-time champ JSR. He's putting it to Vassiati at a few motos. Could this be the changing of the guard, Trav?
Well, how about this? We got 2 super fast Canadians battling in the top 5, and you think about Medallion there as well. So things are looking good for Canadians. Here we go, back to that start. The button hook, riders asking for it. Oh, Vincenity goes down, and it looked like he collected Medi as well, and I think Vassiati got tiled up in that.
But there's a whole bunch. Okay, here we are on board with Robinson. We can see it pretty good. Riders just, this is all the domino effect from, there's Frisi down, there's Vassiati paddling his way through, Graham Scott, and Robinson gets through clean, albeit way back.
Back to the lead, the number 118, that's the Thor KTM of DAVI MILLSAPS getting his first Royal Distributing hook pad of the season. Oh my goodness, Gorky and Benoit are keeping him honest, Brian.
And look at the gap back to Alessi, and right away, a great start for Cade Clayson, originally out of Ohio, now residing in South Carolina. And Vassiati gets up quick, making moves. Fat Yotes, he's no joke, man. If he can get a start, he is capable of winning motos, and he is still the top dog in Canada.
Matichuk and Meston are great MX1 riders, Brian. They've been battling in and around that top 10 all season long, and I love that kind of stuff. And here comes the Yodeler, using all of the track, Brian, coming into the famous Doug DeHaan sweeper.
Fat Yodi on the inside with some great leg work through that Kawasaki right-hander. He is grabbing gears. He's got the Husqvarna. That's the Bondi Engine 350 factory bike, and he just gets by Tyler Medallia there up through the Dunlop section. Then they head down the CF MotoGP section, Trav. A lot of stones as they carry speed down into that gully and pop up a pretty dynamic section of racetrack.
Into this rhythm section, this is the one where Hepner went down. MILLSAPS looks gigantic on the motorcycle coming through there. And there is Gerke keeping him honest. 3-pack, nice to see a little 3-pack grouping for the lead right now.
What's impressing me with Benoit is he can ride all-terrain surfaces. You know, he's great in the sand out in the east, but out here in the west, he's been really fast on the hardback. So he's really maturing and developing as a rider as Clayson gets displaced by Fat Yotes.
Love to see Clayson up, mixing it up with these top 5 boys. I think he's a little faster than he's showing right now, but he opened the door for Vassiati. That was the same line that he used on Matichuk early as they come through this little sweeper section. Really like the way the track is set up. Brian, it looked like the number 1 of Matt Gerke had stalled in the mechanics area, and I think Benoit's moved into second place. Let's go back up to the lead. The 118 of MILLSAPS, Benoit is in second place.
Wow, we could just see at the top of the screen by the mechanics there where Gerke had stalled and opened the door for Fasciotti, Clayson, and Tyler Medaglia there. Now Medaglia is all over Clayson, but look at the 3. He was down in that start pileup. Brett Metcalf on that factory OTSFF Rockstar Yamaha. You can never count out Mets.
You think about the way that the track is setting up. We talked about this in the MX2 class. You really have to prepare yourself for long runs, and you get him in the Doug DeHaan sweeper as Medi goes inside on the number 5 of Tyler Medaglia. I want Tyler to get on the inside on that lane because, let's face it, that's the same place that Yotes got him.
Yeah, Tyler is super fast out here on this racetrack, but Metcalf just on the inside on the 450 with a little more jam. Clayson looks like he's gonna be a victim here because Metcalf is getting bossy through these rollers. This corner here is setting up pretty nicely. There's a bunch of ruts. There's a lot of different options for the riders as they get into lap traffic already, Travs, into this extended section that Stu McQueen had built earlier this weekend.
The dominant rider in the class of 118, you saw the red plate on MILLSAPS. He's leading in points. This is his teammate, though, and I cannot believe how close they are right now, Brian. This is a great thing for that team. Metcalf into the valley on the Motul drop-off, going inside on Clayson as they come up to the Blair Morgan corner, Brian. One of my favorite parts of the track. You got a flat track there, and I like the hipper on the inside, and Medi uses it.
He just shoves Clayson out, and Medi gets that line of choice, that little hipper starting to wear down there. They're not jumping as far down as usual. The 55 of Vince Friese has gotten up and made up a lot of ground as he prepares for another setup to a huge hawk. Gerke in third gets the white flag, but Alessi is right on his fender, breathing hard.
Alessi's in dynamite shape, Brian, and he's been pressing the whole moto, moving up on the Gerkman. Great leg work for him in that corner before the finish. To our leader, the 118 at Davy MILLSAPS, coming through that ABC corner into the Achirby's rhythm section. In total control right now.
Yeah, he is on cruise right now. Definitely just letting up. He knows there's only about a quarter of a track to go. He's got a nice little lead, so Davy just kind of bringing it in safe. But the racing is still raging out here with Vince Friese. He's caught up a ton of ground, and look at the aggression right here from Vinsanity through the Doug DeHaan corner. 6th place, Travs. Through that Cowie sweeper, bam, bam, here shifting up, the great speeds through here, unbelievable. They're doing highway speeds as they hit that ski jump. On the inside, Friese, but Medi with experience hacks off the main line. Met has got eyes on the back of his head.
I thought for sure Medi was going to go back inside as they came out of the valley on that big booter, but he kind of hung it out in the middle. But you're right, cut back real quick. Experience, great defense for Medi.
Oh, and that lapper gets right the heck out of the way, so good thing for Metcalf, because that could have played into it. Vince takes an alternate line. Quarter lap to go, maybe too little, too late, T.
Well, Vinsanity was down in that first corner, Brian, so he's made up a lot of ground to get into 7th place and battle with Metcalf. To our leader, the 118 of Davy MILLSAPS, Thor KTM. On his final approach, he got the whole shot, Brian. He's led wire to wire, which is, well, the way he's been riding this so far this season, almost in every single moto. I think he likes this track the way it's set up, though, because he had some nice lines out there. I love the way he attacked it.
It's just great having MILLSAPS in Canada. It's a huge spectator draw. He's a big name. He's looking down. He's got some issues.
Interesting. As we get back to the battle for 6th place, this is Metcalf and Friese coming out of that hit case Motul dropway into the valley. This is up into the Blair Morgan corner. Things are pretty tight right now, Fabs.
With only 4 corners to go, Metcalf dominating those main inside lines, but Friese has caught up a ton of ground, of course. Both of them having complications off the start. Look at Vince's aggression around the outside. Can he get enough speed to get up on the inside? Metcalf is such a wily veteran, though, Travis. He knows how to block those insides so well.
This track is just set up for spectating too, Brian. You see those guys funnel out of the valley with those huge booters. Wow, Metcalf's defense was impeccable as they come across in 6th, 7th. Now, let's get to our top 10 first MX1 Moto.
The Yamaha leaderboard tells the tale of the tape. How about Benoit? All our players up in their fat yotes 5th. We go back to Clayson, Medaglia, and Meston in 10th.
The mission was get the number 11 on the box, and here he is. Well done, Cavan. 2nd place, first MX1 Moto here from Motor Valley Raceway, and a very smart race. Picking up the garbage that Gerke left, 2nd place. KTM, 1st and 2nd. Well done.
Yeah, for sure. I'm really excited right now, finally getting that podium in the big class. I mean, I've worked hard since the beginning, but it just didn't happen, and today got off to a great start, and then, yeah, Matt stalled his bike, so I ran around him and tried to stay with Davy as much as I could, and yeah, really happy with 2nd place.
Just as he was battling for the lead, a quick stall in mechanics area cost Matt Gorky a 2nd place, or maybe in a 1st. Matt, a tough stall for you, but he looked like he had some good lines out there.
Yeah, I got off to a great start on my Rockstar OTSFF Yamaha and Pirelli tires, and yeah, I just stalled it. I'm pretty mad at myself for that, but other than that, I felt good out there, so try to get him this next moto.
MILLSAPS on the podium with his Royal Distributing hole shot check. That's his first one of the season. Second MX2 Moto right around the corner. Welcome back to Regina's Moto Valley Raceway as we get set for MX2 Moto 2 and the lovely Rockstar L bringing that Moto 2 board. What's wrong with the Kiss boy? Sir Paul Kingsley has brought his Rockstar girls out onto the start straight and the 30 board is up. This second MX2 Moto will be brought to you by Honda. Get yourself a CRF and ride red. Fabulous. Let's get caught up too with the docking from the first Moto. It has been established that 10 riders jumped on the red cross flag and have been docked 10 positions each. That means MAFFENBEIER went from winning that Moto down to 11th. A very difficult situation as the gate drops in the second Moto. Love the soil here in Regina. We'll get back to that situation coming into that first corner. Look at the number 69 two-stroke of RYELEY. GALLUP getting that Royal Distributing hole. Yeah.
Wow, Travis, did he ever time that perfectly? He got a great start in that first Moto, so building on that confidence, a huge Royal Distributing hole shot, but Cole Thompson gets through clean, and I like Dylan Wright, who challenged Thompson in that first Moto, sitting third. Teammate Jess Pettis, great to have him on that MX-101 Blue Crew FXR Yamaha in fourth.
The Dylan Wright on the inside through the Cowie sweeper. Brian, does he have Thompson? Yes, he does as they drop down into the valley. Remember, Cole Thompson came into this weekend with the flu. He's not feeling 100%, Brian. So you could kind of see it in that first Moto. He was kind of hesitant in a lot of places. Right now, Wright's picking up all the scraps. Could he have the lead on GALLUP as they come out of the GP section?
Wow, he's definitely challenging, and yeah, Cole looked a little white and pale here all day long and suffering from the effects of the flu, but look at the 17 out in front ahead of GALLUP. He's got to giddy up. He's got Thompson right there. Thompson staying low, has it up this big step-up triple. The all-ball step-up, and then a right-hander. GALLUP challenging on the two-stroke. Nice to see that young rider making a name for himself.
Here's that start again. GALLUP on the inside with a dynamite start. You talked about timing. It's everything. And you know, it's nice to see a couple of two-strokes up here. The rule has changed this year. The factory guys can't ride the two-strokes, but the privateers can. Still nice to see them up here.
Yeah, and they can't modify the cylinder, so that's further to the rule. We can see Thompson challenging right here on Wright. Up the inside, full commitment for the pass. Oh, he just gets off the inside of that. A Chirpy's marker there, neck and neck through the air. Thompson lands simultaneous and makes the pass.
Wow, that rhythm section, they've brought actually more crowd out to the front part of this track, and it's one of the greatest places to watch the race because so fast, finish line's there, and it's a huge jump after they come out. Thompson very aggressive on the inside, and I think you're right, got down a little earlier.
And you can see on the downsides of this rhythm section how blue groove this place really is underneath. So a lot of tilling and water going into the track. We did have that rain in the first MX2 Moto just to keep the dust down. Here it is again, full commitment by Tommy Gunn up the inside. The pass is made way back there, or the challenge for the pass, I should say. And he just comes in hot like crazy, and they were just elbow to elbow. What a ballsy move by Cole Thompson.
Stayed low on the first one, then out-jumped him on the second. I like how we put that combination together. Back to the number 15 of SHAWN MAFFENBEIER, who did not get a great start. But look at this little combination. Worth on the inside, coming in on the Blair Morgan corner. That's the Zox Hipper, and it looks like he's got knotted. Oh, my banging bars. That's Pettis and MAFFENBEIER, two young Canadian studs.
Pettis has been great this year, but MAFFENBEIER is so confident. He's riding with so much heart, and his cornering speed is incredible. These guys all just ripping it up out here. A fast track. RYELEY GALLUP, the story right now, though, boy, that youngster is ripping it hard ahead of all these factory stars.
The imagery from the Rockstar lock-off cam on the inside before the finish line is blowing my mind. To our leader, the number 4, Cole Thompson. You saw him coming through that blue groove rhythm section. Brian, you talked about it. Super slippery. Look at the legwork on Wright in second place. And back to Lil Muff as he works up on the 69 of Giddy Up GALLUP.
Amazing, we have 3 KTMs in the top 4 course. Cole Thompson running those Chirpy's hand guards. Little Muff opting to go without, and the roost out here, Travis, is punishing.
It is punishing as we get back to MAFFENBEIER has gotten by GALLUP. Pettis is in the mix, and here comes Worth into the GP section. You know, the dichotomy of this track with the flat part up top and all those big jumps and these huge valley sections makes this a great track to watch motocross on.
Look at the line for Pettis, way around the outside, carrying speed. He gets by RYELEY GALLUP. What a great move by the number 20, looking and not afraid to try new lines. These lines are out here, Travis, they're just hard to find sometimes.
Well, and you talk about eye line. You want to look for smooth options, maybe one that you can carry more speed, and that's exactly what Pettis did down in that EBC corner to our leader, the number 4, Cole Thompson. A little under the weather today, Brian. He finished 4th in the first moto, but actually got bumped up with the docking. Look at Dylan Wright comes through, that Rockstar Yamaha pilot, and here comes Maffenbeier on that big steel box KTM.
Through the Marin right-hander, of course, they've got that 5 Fast Reasons contest happening to win a bike, but Dylan Wright's speed, Trav, his maturity, the evolution of his riding and the help from MX101, it is a Cinderella story.
Without a doubt, but that's what Canadian motocross is about. It's about building riders up from the ground, and that's what they've done up there. Look at the 217 at Keys. Wow, that's an interesting part, because normally guys are tripling way past that section.
And you can see that Kawasaki just nose high all the way up, so a scary moment. There is the 70 of Brandon Leith. His right side panel flopping around in the wind, Travis. That is gonna be annoying.
Oh, no,
look.
Gallup is down.
Wow, he just got up over that front end. He lost the front wheel and just augured himself into the ground, sampling hard. He's messing around there. What's he doing, Travis? He's got some issues. Oh, so his left side panel, or I should say rad shroud, comes off, and look at him just without much run, still makes that step up triple.
Those corners are pretty choppy coming in, Brian. Obviously, you got to maintain focus all the way through to the number 17 of Dylan Wright and the number 15 of SHAWN Maffenbeier. This little cluster is for second place, where we have a couple lappers in between.
Yeah, the number 50 redemption rider, Alex Jeffrey, that is Maffenbeier's teammate. They're wearing the exact same gear. They're looking great in that fly gear on track.
What is wrong with Maffenbeier? He's looking down at the engine, Brian. He's got an issue.
This is unbelievable. What the heck is going on with little Muff? He's got, I don't see anything blowing out there, no oil, and he's obviously losing power. He's waving his arms, he's looking down, he's looking for the mechanics area. This is tragedy.
Well, if you think about what happened to him in the first moto, he won that first moto, then got docked back to 11th, and then he was sitting in 3rd place on his way to 2nd, and now it looks like a potential DNF to our leader, the number 4, Cole Thompson. Look at the depth of these valleys. Looks like Dylan Wright is keeping him close.
Yeah, great racing, still out on track, and the 67 of Kyle Bureau, the local Saskatchewan, gets by Ontario rider Arsenal. This is just outside the top 10, so these riders still fighting hard right to the bitter end.
Well, that really showed how choppy the GP section is down in the valley, because that's the moistest part, where those riders keep coming in, pounding those lines. Arsenal having some issues coming into the Yamaha corner.
Well, number 42, Jean-Christophe Woyold, he's one of those Moto Van Black riders, and he gets by Arsenal as well.
Reminds me of Genereux, one of those big Quebec boys. Hey, they want the poutine out there.
Yeah, no shortage of the poutine and the chien show.
With the number 4 of Cole Thompson and the number 17 of Dylan Wright getting their last lap flags, let's head back to the number 20 of Jess Pettis, who picks up the scraps from Maffenbeier and is now sitting in 3rd place.
Great for Pettis to pick up that Rockstar helmet sponsor this year, along with Dylan Wright. Now Mark Worth holding up the Monster Energy honor. He's always got the GoPro on his helmet, but this rider right here, Jess Pettis from Prince George, BC, has been turning heads all year, incrementally getting stronger, and what a solid team that MX101 Blue Crew package has put together.
Our leader coming out of the Achirby / Blair Morgan corner down into the valley. Here he comes up for a nice, and taking it easy. We talked about Cole Thompson, how smart he is. Of course, not feeling well today. He doesn't have to do anything crazy coming in.
And how bloody smooth the guy is. He's so deceivingly fast, and he's kind of like Fasciati. He never really seems to get his feathers ruffled. He's always got great composure, looking up to the heavens right there. When you got the flu and win a moto, hallelujah! To the Yamaha leaderboard, that moto was all about SHAWN Maffenbeier, probably the fastest rider on track, going out challenging for 2nd. I gotta like Gallup hanging on, and then Wharton, Halstead, and Keast in 10th.
With the number 4 of Cole Thompson winning the 2nd moto here at Moto Valley Raceway. Cole, visibly shaken, though. You're not looking good. Nice to come in for a win on that 2nd moto, though.
Yeah, that 2nd one was tough. The first moto, a little bit tougher, had a crash, bad start. Thankfully to come out of here with a win. It was a tough weekend. Guys were riding good, and I'm a little under the weather, so look forward to this week off, get back to 100%, and come into the East Coast swinging.
Holding off a charging SHAWN Maffenbeier is the 17 of Dylan Wright. Dylan, a spectacular 2nd moto for you today. Under difficult circumstances with that first moto, you've had actually a really good day out on the track.
Yeah, obviously I had 2 good motos, but first moto's under review, so we don't really know what's going on. I mean, obviously I can take this solid rides east, and I was catching Cole in the last couple laps, so maybe in the East Coast, maybe I can put some more moto wins together, and I don't know, it's just something to grow on today. Obviously, I'm a little disappointed on what happened in the first moto, but I mean, it is what it is, and we move on, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I got off to a great start, and I struggled in the first moto, so I just tried to pick some different lines, some smoother lines, and it worked. I mean, the track shaped up great in the second moto, and yeah, like I said, got off to a great start and just flowed really well, and worked my way into third, and just put my head down, charged the whole moto, and ended up third in that moto. So I'm pretty excited to be back up here.
A tough day for the MX2 racers with the docking in the first moto. Here is the updated points as we finish round 4 for the MX2 class. Thompson with a giant lead as we head east. Moffenbeier, Leith, Wright, and Pettis are the ones that lost points. Here's your top 3 in the MX2 class as we close out round 4. Thompson, Noddet, and Marky Worth. MX1 next. Welcome back to Regina's Moto Valley Raceway. Mark Travers and Brian Coster in the booth as we get set for the final moto of the day. As we think about the weather we've had here in the last couple of years, the track conditions, the weather have been absolutely spectacular. A little chilly, but great to race in the chill. Fans have been out, and this final MX1 moto will be brought to you by Prairie Toyota dealers. Love having Toyota on site today, test driving, having a look at the new trucks as Lauren goes to 5.
Riders getting ready to do the humpty hump out here. When the gate drops, we got Riley Bruff at 26, right on the inside. Medallia a couple in, and that gate is down. Travis, great shot there on that Rockstar lockoff.
Dynamite soil in the start-only section of the track, and who is it? The number 800 of Mike Alessi pulls a giant Royal Disturbing hole.
And then some, but did you see the one of Matt Gerke get all fishtaily? I thought he was gonna high side, but he recovers, sitting 5th with his teammate. But here comes the big man. And Benoit tops his teammate's back wheel, but MILLSAPS, look at the size, he's a behemoth on the bike, and he's grabbing gears, but on the inside. Look at that acceleration for the KTM, look at that head shake for Alessi, just give it, or they're doing at least 120 kilometers as they hit the section, and MILLSAPS scrubs low. I can't even believe DAVI pulled that off. What a maneuver! He has a whole moto to set it up, but no, not MILLSAPS style. And there's a lot of rivalry back in the States right as their mini-cycle careers progress. These two have a history.
Well, Alessi said if he got the whole shot, he might be able to win, but holy smokes, that's like 4 corners from the whole shot line. And MILLSAPS puts in the big kingpin move and drops it. And you talked about the speeds on this track, Brian. I cannot believe how fast the 450s are blazing around this track.
It is just a sight to behold. All the fans on hand are getting their money's worth. And there's the inside, a little bumping and grinding with that high-speed hairpin. And you saw the one of Matt Gerke just totally sideways.
Alessi getting his first whole shot of the season. That's a surprise. Nice to see him out in the lead, but oh, look at that little scrubber. I tell you what, MILLSAPS has got a bag of tricks, Brian. You don't have to see too many of them because he doesn't need them.
Yeah, he is a great rider and a fantastic mentor for Kevin Benoit, who has been impressing, to say the least, sitting in 3rd. Got Alessi right there grabbing a tear-off through that spectator rhythm section. High-speed thrills and spills. Great leg work for the 11. Of course, mimicking JSR, and they've been hanging around so much together. They look the same.
Except for the champ's got a goat, for crying out loud. He looks stylish. To the number 3, that's Brett Metcalf. Gerke's in the mix. Fasciati's in the mix. And I love to see the number 5 Parts Canada Husky of Tyler Medallia banging bars up here. Freezy's coming on strong, and I think I saw the number 6. Yes, Cade Clayson.
Man, Clayson looks really fast. He wants to get in on Freezy and establish that he can pass him. These two battled hard in Supercross. Cade Clayson on that Redemption Racing GP Bikes Big Steel Box KTM. Second full season in Canada. He's loving up here. And I'm telling you, this is a great training ground for any young American that wants to get established in the U.S.
Oh, Clayson's a bona fide top 10 guy, no question about it, as the boys drop down in the valley. Impressive speeds. The number 19 of Morgan Berger went down in that Rockstar corner in the back section. Now he's working up on his so-called teammate, the number 26 of Riley Bruff. Of course, these guys travel together. What I like about these two guys are both battling just in and around that top 10, 11 positions. They're fast young Americans.
100%. They're keeping it clean on track. It's their 3rd, if not 4th year traveling the Canadian Series, and now Riley's younger brother McCoy making a name for himself in MX2. Out front, it's D-Saps. no new news there.
Love the legwork. Alessi in second place. Where is Benoit? He's keeping it close.
What?
The number 3 of Metcalf is starting to gain ground. Boy, he looks good on that Yamaha today, Brian.
And the number 1 teammate, Matt Girkman in 4th. There's Fat Yodeler sitting in 5th. Where is the number 11? Berger with a great start has the number 6 of Cade Clayson all over him. And the K-Man is starting to pressure. He's got the gloves on.
The number 11 of Kevin Benoit was still in 3rd place, Brian. He was holding tight on Alessi, so both of those riders are keeping MILLSAPS in check as we get back to that rhythm section with Berger and Clayson. I think Clayson had an issue and fell back, so now he's got to get on the gas and focus and make a few passes to get back into the top 10. Brian, the number 11 of Kevin Benoit is off track.
And he's right at the mechanics area, so this is tragedy. He's already had one bad DNF at Nanaimo, but it is Bruff that has gapped the 6, and what a move by Clayson, Travis.
Using the outside line, very aggressive on the throttle, pop through, and here it is on the splitter. It looks to me like they're looking down into the chain area again for Benoit.
He's had that broken chain at round 2, and here we are. There is definite issues with that back wheel. How frustrating from 2nd place. This guy has had so much luck in his career. Look at that chain all packed up. Oh, Matt, his mechanic, gets it out. That's Matt Chu getting it back on that big old Renthal sprocket. And look at that shifter pointing straight down. There is a lot of trouble going on with that KTM. They get it going. How's he going to shift gears with that shifter?
Maybe into a thick rut or something, because there's not a lot of rocks on this track, Brian, which normally is one of the reasons why a chain might come off.
Yeah, great point with Clayson. Just a fraction faster than Berger gets by, but Berger now in his wheel tracks looking to retaliate, and I know Berger, he ain't intimidated by these guys.
One of the things I love about this track are the big floaters, Brian. The riders love those big jumps where they get up there and start saying, oh no, Berger loses the front end on that Mountain Edge Yamaha strict gear. Too bad for him. He actually crashed in that same corner a couple of laps ago.
Oh man, so he hits the grill again and gets up with a little bit of sharp broiling marks on his back arse end. Well, you know he likes it rare, but he's looking a little well done right now.
To the 118 of DAVI MILLSAPS in full control in the lead, checking out the depth of these valleys as the riders blast out of that Yamaha corner. Here comes Alessi, looking good in 2nd place. I want to talk about Alessi. He's been fast all season. Right now, I would say next to MILLSAPS, maybe the fastest, most consistent rider.
Oh, he is awesome, but all these guys, look at the suspension compress into this valley. Right here, just bottoms right out, and then they just boing, spring way up that hill. That is called a step-up triple.
To a nice battle outside of the top 10, the 21 of Kyle Swanson having a hard time on the inside line. FXR Yamaha, and look at Kuba, 468 on the Cowie, using that same Cade Clayson line, launching into the Cowie sweeper.
Well, Austin Kuba Jr. has a great pass in all red on that Kawasaki. Gets by Swanee, who is an FXR rider, riding really good, but we're not seeing that speed this season that we saw from Swanson. Remember, last year he got a whole bunch of top 10s, even top 5s.
Look at this battle. The number 1 of Matt Gerke and the number 2 of Colton Fasciotti, a scant second between them as they come out of the mechanics area and into that little left-hander before the big sweeper. And there's the MILLSAPS. Oh my goodness, the Kingpin is on it. Alessi, though, keeping it close.
Alessi is really riding well. He has got a huge gap right now to 3rd, so he is poised for a great podium. Brett Metcalf also looking to get on the box. He's under a lot of duress this year with so much talent in the field. Medi could use another podium to build his confidence, and I know the team still has a lot of faith in both their riders.
Kuba and Swanson are getting it together, Brian, into the Rockstar lockoff cam before the finish line. Oh, nice shot through there as we head back. It looks like the 26 of Riley Bro is also in the mix. Swanson, you're right, Brian. The kid's got speed. He's got such tenacity. We just haven't seen the overall package like he had with Devil's Lake last year.
Yeah, for sure. That team atmosphere is going to be a lot better than being a privateer. They just got their white flag. Riley Bruff is just ahead of that battle. But out front, KTM Thor Parts Canada rider DAVI MILLSAPS. The Georgia Peach looking poised to take another W here in the prairies.
The big man coming into the Toyota Tacoma right-hander, only a couple of camelbacks before he gets to that left-hander corner before the finish, Brian. He really has become the total package when you think about the number of races that he's won and the number of laps that he's led.
Exactly, a fan favorite. MILLSAPS up here smiling, having fun, loving riding his dirt bike.
Welcome back to Regina's Moto Valley Raceway. There's the number 1 of Matt Gerke. He's going to finish 3rd overall for the day, 4th in that Moto to the Yamaha leaderboard. Let's go to Fasciotti in 5th. Not liking that result, I don't think. Freezy in 6th. Medallia, Clayson, Berger and Riley Bro rounding out the top 10. Let's go down to Fabs in the impound with the flaps.
The 118 of DAVI MILLSAPS. Great starts all day long, and that pass on Alessi was unbelievable. I couldn't believe you scrubbed it and made it happen that quick. Unbelievable, Davey.
Yeah, all he's been talking about is if he gets a start, he can beat me. So I was pumped he got a start. And, he didn't beat me. But, he still got to stay humble, though, no matter what. He rode a great race. He held on to me for, quite a long time. And we were pushing a good pace. So he was riding really good. And, probably the best I've seen him ride in a really long time. But, for me, I felt good. I'm having fun, man. It makes it a lot different when you're having fun versus being a robot and stuff like that back home.
Well, talk to us a little bit about this Regina track, the way it's set up. There was a lot of lines in the corners, but it was a tough, choppy track. It was deceivingly rough, I think.
Yeah, 2 years ago when I came here, it was dripping wet, sloppy Regina.
Yeah, it was raining hard.
It was raining hard. So this year it was just tacky and ruddy and a lot of square edges out of the corners. So it took a lot of throttle control through the corners and then being smart with your lines, picking good lines, and obviously the lappers kind of dictated a little bit of time there in the middle of the race, but I got through them pretty clean and was able to salvage second.
Brett, another third, a pretty good day on a pretty gnarly track.
It was, it was a challenging day. First moto went down in the first corner and came back to a 6. So happy to get a third in the second moto and get some good points. And the track was gnarly. A lot of square edge, fighting traction a lot today. So, the Rockstar OTSFF Yamaha's working good. Factory connection. We're each weekend's getting a little better, but we're still a little off. So, get some rest in this 2-week break, do a little testing, and try and hit the East Coast strong.
Let's go to the Yamaha leaderboard. Total points in the MX1 class after 4 of 10 as we close with this great round of racing in Regina. You know your leader. Medalia, Benoit with a DNF in 8th, Morgan Berger 9th, and Keelan Meston rounding out the top 10.
Nice job, Travis. What a great day of racing here in Regina. Our top 3 overall MX win. Remember to like the CMRC MX Facebook page and go to mxnationals.ca for all the goodies.
You have been watching the 2016 Rockstar Energy Drink Motocross Nationals, presented by Motovan.com, the source for your power sports parts and accessories. Well, with the boys blasting off a little Champagne, it's been a great Western trip, capped off by a dynamite Regina. Oh my Gunderson.